Hi everyone, and welcome to your second lesson within the Professional Diploma in Website Design. I'm Kate Savage, your course educator, and I'm very happy that you've all joined us for lesson 2, which is going to be Web Design Foundations. As always, we're going to start off with a fun fact. So did you know on a daily basis 2.9 billion Google searches are executed? That is a lot of people online, and that's only Google. So there are definitely customers out there looking for new opportunities. And then we've also got that web design for 48% of your visitors is going to determine whether or not you are actually a credible site. So you could have the most amazing company the world has ever seen, but if your website isn't up to scratch, a lot of people are just going to think that you are unprofessional or are basically hyping yourself up. So it's very important to make sure that you think of your website as a product and part of your company. Just a quick refresher on me. So as I said before, I'm Kate Savage. And my quote of the lesson is, develop a passion for learning. If you do, you'll never cease to grow. I personally think if you stop learning, you stop living. I'd also just like to remind you that I've been a computer nerd since 2003. I graduated with 15 distinctions and some really fantastic experiences, and I'm here to share my passion for everything IT with you. My skills include web design, web development, programming, and yes, karaoke. Hopefully you'll never have to witness that. Just a quick reminder on how to interact with Morpheus. You can ask him questions. If he doesn't know the answer to your question, he will then send the question on to the class. If the class doesn't know, which I hope never happens, an email will be sent to me and I will get back to you as soon as humanly possible. In the case that you have a question you haven't asked in class or only think of later, you can just email us at support@shoreacademy.com. And just one more reminder, please remember to rate your experience with Morpheus so that we can make him better if there are any problems. Don't forget that in order to succeed, you need to put in the effort and commitment. We here at Shore Academy are here to make things as easy as possible for you to attend your lessons and succeed. All you have to do is don't drop out. We want you to achieve your goals, and we know that this is vital to your success. For any of you who've missed a lesson, please don't panic. Remember, all the sessions are recorded and available for catch-up on shoreacademy.com. You can also reschedule classes to better suit your timetable. You simply need to go to live.shoreacademy.com and log in to find recording and scheduling options. So this is our website, and I'm quickly just going to run you through. If you have missed any classes, you can go ahead and add them to your calendar so that you've got a reminder if you're forgetful like I am. Then you can go and restart your course. So if you've missed anything, you can restart the entire course and start from step 1 again. So please don't panic or be put off if you fall behind. And you can also change your class date and time. So if you've got anything on an evening where you've scheduled a course, you can very easily just go and change it for a day that suits you better. Isn't that nice? So you're not going to have your principal chasing you around telling you to come to class. So coming up in today's lesson, let's see what our objectives are. So the first thing is we want to learn about comments. We're going to take a deep dive into HTML. I'm going to introduce you to some new tags. I'm going to introduce you to color codes, which I'm really excited about. Then there's also the position property. And we're going to be linking an HTML document and a CSS document. And by the end of the lesson, you will have this. So this is just a very basic home page for a site called The Gaming Den. And within this, we've got headings, a table, some div containers, and then we've also got our footer at the bottom. So to check number 1 off our list, why should you comment? This is something that some people just hate doing, but it is very necessary. So why are we going to comment in our scripts? Well, commenting is used to explain what your script is doing or what it's supposed to do. Comments can be used as place marks for where you'd like to change something or add something later. So if I'm on a time schedule and I just need to get a website done, and while I'm doing it I think, geez, I really want to add another graphic here or make this move, I can just leave a little note to myself, and the next time I have some time on my hands I can go and add it in. The next important thing is it comes in handy if you're sick. We all get sick, and there's nothing worse than when your colleague or even you are sick yourself and no one can help you because no one understands what you're doing. So leaving comments just makes it easier for someone to pick up where you left off. And most importantly, it allows anyone viewing your script to be able to understand it. So some people are very guilty of doing something called Cowboy Code, and that's when they name things weirdly and they don't leave comments, and they are basically the only person on the planet who can understand what they've done. So please never be the cowboy in your company. So we've spoken about why we comment, but how do we comment? So we don't want our comments showing up on the screen. So we're going to use comment tags. So in HTML, you're going to use this in order to comment. So you're going to have your brackets, an exclamation mark, 2 dashes, then between them you can write in your text, and then 2 dashes and a closing bracket. Within CSS, you're going to do a slash, star, star, and another slash. I know this seems weird now, but I am going to do a practical demonstration for all of you. But enough about comments, let's move into our deep dive into HTML. So it's time for your second edition of Let's Talk Tags. First on our list is the footer, and that's going to contain details such as your copyrights. It can also have links to the pages within your site, and also your contact us details. The next tag is going to be the image tag, and that's obviously going to allow for the use of images. Next is the div, which allows the addition of sections. Then we have table, which allows you to create tables. We've got tr, that creates table rows, and th, which creates your table headings. Then we've got CSS explained. Let's have a look at some CSS syntax. So we've got P, which is going to be our selector, so that's going to select which section within the HTML code are we wanting to edit. So from here, anything enclosed in the P tag will be edited. So if we change all of the fonts to 50, everything with the P tag will be changed to font 50. Then we've got this big chunk of code, and we're going to break it down. So firstly, what is the declaration? Well, the declaration is a line. So we're declaring that we would like to take the text and align it. We've got the property, which is text. So we would like to take the property text and align it. And then we need a value, which is center. So we're selecting everything that's a paragraph. We're selecting the text within that paragraph. We're aligning the text within the paragraph. And we're aligning it by making it in the center. So you can take pretty much any line of CSS and break it down into these 4 simple stages. Or it allows you to make them move as people scroll along. But let's quickly look at the 5 different properties. So we've got static, and this is the default position, and it will be positioned in the regulatory order. What this means is it will just go in the order that your computer is reading your HTML document. Then we've got relative, which defines the element's new position with help from things like top, bottom, left, and right. So you can customize and move this to wherever you'd like. Then we've got fixed. This means it stays in the same place even when the page is scrolled through. This is going to prevent empty space on the page. So we are going to use fixed when we add in our footer, so that no matter how long the person scrolls down for, the footer is going to stay in the same position. Then we've got absolute, and this element allows you to place the element anywhere on the web page, by using top, bottom, left, and right. And the last, and possibly the most fun, is sticky. So this is a mixture of fixed and relative, and this is based on the user scroll. So have you ever been on a site where the navigation menu follows you? So even when you're scrolling down, the navigation menu always stays at the top of your screen. In that case, they are using sticky navigation. Anyway, it is getting to that time for a demo. The first section we're going to do is the website outline. Alright, so that was enough theory. Let's go and have some fun, and we can start building the gaming den. So what do you all think I should be doing first? While you answer, I'm just going to go ahead and format this nicely. Oopsie, there we go. So, what I think we should do first is go and change Untitled 1 to the gaming den. And we're going to go ahead and save. Okay, so within here, you're just going to go to your file location, and this can just become gaming den. Okay, so now we've got our HTML file saved. So we can go up to preview in Chrome, and then we just bring it over here. So a fun little trick, if you push the Windows key and your side arrow, you can split to exactly half your screen. And here we go. I've got a nice cut of my screen. So up here we can see the gaming den as seen here. What I want us to start off with is just to create our heading. So that heading will be heading 1. And within here, we're just going to type in welcome to the gaming den. And we can pop an exclamation mark in there to be a little bit cheeky. And let's see how that has worked. So if you look here where I'm hovering, we can see that F12 is our hotkey. So let's just push F12. So what are we going to type in? Well, we're going to say welcome to the gaming den. And we can pop an exclamation mark in there to be cheeky. Then if we look up top, we can see here Control plus S saves. So I've just saved that. And F12 views in Chrome. But remember, if we do that, every time it's going to open a new window, and if you don't have a lot of RAM, that's really going to cause issues for you. So we're just going to go here and refresh. So welcome to the gaming den. Okay, so we've got welcome to the gaming den. I'm pretty sure we had another heading, and that read smaller than heading 1. So heading 2 was today's crazy specials, and we got to just remind them, don't miss don't miss out. There we go. So today's crazy specials, don't miss out. So I'm going to save that and refresh, and then you can see, as I've told you before, that the formatting here is quite a bit smaller than the original heading 1. Okay, the next thing we're going to want to do is format our container that's going to hold our contact us details. The next thing we're going to want to do is go and create a div class container. What that's going to do is it's going to separate our contact us information from everything else within the HTML that's defined as a paragraph. So if we go and edit one paragraph to, let's say, font 50, every instance of paragraph will be changed to font 50. So this is how we're going to go about separating contact us from things like our footer. So we're going to go ahead and type in div class, div class, and then in here container, And we want to close that. We need about 4 lines for this. And don't forget to tab. And we want to say P, contact us. And now we want to tell them how to contact us. So we're going to go phone. And for the sake of it, we're just going to say all 5s because I have a fear that I'm really going to put someone's number on one day and then everyone's going to call them. So I just make up stuff. So the next thing we're going to have is email. And the email address can be gamingden@order.com. There we go. It's not just Gaming Den, it's the Gaming Den. Can anyone tell me what I have done wrong? Just by looking at this. What have I done wrong in this email? Haha, yes. I put a capital D. Okay, so this, let's run and have a look. So I'm just saving that. Okay, so we've got these really big gaps in between, and it just doesn't look very nice. So what I think we should do is let's see what happens if I get rid of these. So I'm just putting this all into one big paragraph. Let's see what happens. Okay, so that didn't work. Now everything's sitting on one line. So I think what I'm going to show you is a nice new trick. And what I'm going to show you is if we go to contact us, we want it to go into the next line. So what we're going to do is type in BR. And what BR does is it creates a line break. So that's going to make sure that after contact us, this line is now empty, so it moves on to the next line. Let's show you what that is. See? So here's where our break is, and it says nothing's going on here, and sends it to the next line. Let's do it one more time. If we put BR here, and with the BR or breaks, you don't need to have a closing tab. There we go. So that looks a lot better, and we don't have that same humongous gap, which I prefer. So we've got contact us, the phone number, and the email address. Okay, next thing, let's tidy this up. We want to then put in our footer. Now footer also falls within a div because we want to make sure we never edit him by accident. So that's going to be div class, and what are we making? A footer. And we can close that up. This is going to be a bit shorter than the last one. So we're just going to type in P and copyright 2019. There we go. Let's save this. So do you all think that when I push refresh, this is going to be at the bottom of the page, or do you think it's just going to fall under everything else? While you decide, I'm quickly tidying up. Okay, let's see what happens. The moment of truth. Okay, it formats up top. We haven't yet done the CSS we need to do in order for the copyright to stay at the bottom of the page. But don't worry, I will be showing you in the next few minutes, and we will all be masters of footers by the end of that. At this point, we've now got our heading 1, heading 2, our div class container with all of our contact us details, and then we've got our footer that isn't behaving like a footer. What we want to do is go and quickly add in our table. The next thing on our list is going to be adding in our table using HTML. If you all remember, we want the table to be in the center of our screen. In this case, the first thing we want to do is then go ahead and say table, align, and we want to align it to the center. And let's give ourselves some space. So we've got table, align, center. I've just realized that I put this in the wrong place. So I'm just going to quickly drag it up there. There we go. So how I did that was I just highlighted it, clicked on it, and dragged it. It's quite a handy trick when you make mistakes. Okay, so at this point, nothing's really changed. So what we want to do is go in here, and within our table, what have we got? Tables are made up of columns and rows. We want to start with table row. Now all of our information needs to fall into one row. So how the tables work is it goes one row at a time. So not columns, rows. But I'm going to demonstrate that. So in here we've got table row. And our tables need headings. Otherwise we have no idea what information is in there. So our first heading is going to be name. So table heading is equal to name. Next on the list, table heading is equal to genre. So what kind of game is it? Then we've got our price. And last, our platform. So what are they going to be playing the game on? Let's see what this looks like. Okay, so at this point we can see that our centers worked because it's now sitting in the center of the screen, and we've printed a row. Now we need to go and put in the rest of our details. So we want to start a new row. So we're going to go TR, so table row, and now instead of TH, what we're going to enter is TD, so table data or table data, however you prefer to say it. So we've got TD. And within here, we're going to type in the information. So the name is Minecraft. The genre is open world. And then next we've got TD, and we're going to say the price. In this case, 400 Rand. For anyone who doesn't know, the Rand is the currency used in South Africa, where I'm from. And I think it would be quite fun and interesting if you all type in what country you're from and the currency that you use. Then the platform, we're going to say for this that it's an Xbox One. I wish. Okay, so now we should have our second row. So let's have a squiz. There we go. So now we've got our table heading, and we can see that this is bolded in comparison to this line. Our next game is FIFA, so the first thing we're going to do is TR. Repetition is how we learn. You will thank me later. So I'm going to teach you some tricks now. So instead of typing out TD every time, I'm just going to highlight it. And just paste it in to save myself time. There we go. And what we want to type in here is FIFA 16. Sports is the genre. It's 800 Rand. And it's a PC game. Let's save and see. Okay, so you can see here there's actually a little invisible border that's showing up. And we can then just do our last one quickly. So for the last time, TR. And we can just paste those in. Oh, for anyone who doesn't know, all I'm doing to do that is I'm just Control C. And then I'm pressing Control V. Alternatively, if you don't understand, you can just highlight all of it. So just drag along, go to copy, and then you can go paste. Nice handy trick. Okay, so our last one is then Tomb Raider, which I personally love. Okay, so we've got Tomb Raider. And I've said that that is an adventure game. That it costs 800 Rand. No, 600 Rand. And that it is a PC game. So, FIFA, you are actually a PlayStation. So now we see here that I've said PC. All I need to do is literally go in, delete it, go PlayStation, and save. And voila, no one would ever know, unless I didn't tell you, that I had made that little mistake. Okay, so that is our HTML. So it's not looking very professional at this point, but we are going to move on to the CSS now, and then we're going to have that really good looking site that I showed you earlier on in the lesson. So I think it's time for you all to be introduced to color codes. The first thing you want to know is that color codes are used to format colors in a way that a computer can read. The most commonly used codes are the hex color codes made up of 6 digits. The 3 primary colors are red, green, and blue, and this hex code, which is shorthand as RGB, represents red, green, and blue by mixing the highest intensity of one color with the lowest intensities of the other 2, and by doing this you can create any desired color. So here's a little bit of an example. So in the red you've got red, green, and then blue. So you're choosing your intensities there. I'll be showing you. So just as an example, just to demonstrate this to you, we've got a color code over here, and then we've got our red, green, and blue. Don't worry, I'm going to be showing you more about this in my demo. Now that our HTML is done, we can move on to the CSS. So what we want to do is go up to this little sheet of paper, click on the down arrow and go to CSS. And we get a nice blank canvas. Let's save this just so we make sure we don't lose it, and we can call this Gaming Den. .html. There we go, so Gaming Den, and this will save as a CSS file. So you see here, Gaming Den HTML, Gaming Den CSS. So we're going to go in here within our head, and we're going to type in link rel, otherwise known as relationship. It's going to be a style sheet, and then href is equal to, and we're going to be cheeky and choose pick URL, and we're going to link that to Gaming Den CSS. So over here we see this little icon, that is your CSS, and your Chrome is your HTML's icon. Let's select OK. We can see we've selected the right one, and it auto generates for you. Just remember, see it's already said to us, look, you've got an opening, but you don't have a closing. So we're going to close. There we go. Okay, so now we've got this massive background image. What could we do to fix that? So we can then go background position, and we want that to be the left and the bottom of the screen. Let's see if that does anything. Nope. What about if we set the background size? Oopsie. Background size is 100% of the width of the screen and 100% of the height. Get a bit over enthused. Okay, let's save that. And okay, so now we have a very weird scenario, because in any world this piece of code would work. This is one of my favorite and least favorite things about web design. So we can see there's no problem here. Let's go into Gaming Den. That's everything looks fine except one tiny detail. When I prepared my expression web, I did not delete this HTML. You think I'm being funny, but watch. Let's refresh. Ta-da! One tiny little mistake can ruin everything. So it's very important to have very good attention for detail. Often the process of elimination is how I actually figure things out. So we've now got our background image and we are happy. So the next thing is our heading 1. So let's set the width of that to 100%, the color to white, just in case you're interested. If you scroll through here, there's a whole bunch of different colors. So we're going to keep that as white. Our font family is going to be Lato, just because I have pre-designed this site, so please don't think I'm just making this stuff up as I go along. It did take quite a bit of thought. There we go. And then our font size is 50 pixels. Our text align is center. The one thing that gets confusing is actually using the right kind of colon because that can ruin everything. And we've got text shadow. So for fun, I'm going to quickly show you how it's supposed to look. And we're going to make this gray. Let's quickly see what this looks like. Okay, so we've got a very subtle shadow going on underneath. What happens if I change 1 to a 10? Boom. Okay, I don't like that. But let's show you the opposite. So if 2 turns to 20. Ooh. Okay, so these are just, so that was your vertical and this is your horizontal. But no, I don't like that, so we're going to leave it as just a very subtle effect. I'm just working from top to bottom here. So the next one is heading 2. And we want that font size to be quite a bit smaller than our big heading because we want it to stand out. So let's just make it half, so 25 pixels. The color will be white. Text align will be center. I just centered everything for this one, I think. And then we can create a margin. Now what the margin is going to do is just create some space between heading 1 and heading 2 so that they're not sitting on top of each other. And lastly, font family is going to be Lato. Okay, let's save. Okay, so we've got quite a big gap, but because this is my favorite part, let's just add, so I've made this 180 now. So it's that nice big gap, but we're going to leave it at 80. This is a really fun way to learn all about web design. I honestly sit and do this, where I just change things and see what it looks like. So feel free to just go ahead and change whatever you want. You can always undo. Next is going to be the table. This is what I've been looking forward to. So within the table, we're going to do the boring stuff first, get it out the way. Font family later. Whee! Let's get a bit over eager there. Okay, so we've got font family later. Then we want to collapse our borders. Now even though we can't see the borders, they are there. As you recall, I showed you earlier. So we're going to collapse those. See? can see the tiny little border. Okay, so we're going to collapse the borders. We're going to set the width to 60% of the page. Let's save and have a look. So you see we've already got some really nice formatting coming through here. Looks a lot better than it did a few minutes ago at least. Okay, we've got 60%, so let's just play my game, change that to 90, and it takes up a whole bunch of room. Now why I prefer the percentage is because it will change considering your screen. So if you've got a tablet, it'll still stay in the center, as opposed to, you know, moving around when on a site like this, it won't look good if it's all sitting on the side. So I just use 60%. Then we've got text align, and that is going to be center. And then margin on the top. Margin top is going to be 80 pixels again. There we go. Just so we've created just a bit more space again. I don't like to have everything too cramped. So we've gone and had a look. Let's see. So we're quite happy with what this looks like. We are not happy. So what we want to do is we need this top row to stand out. And in order to get it to stand out, we need to format it. So let's go TH. And we can do some of the boring stuff first. So we can go font size. And we can make that 20 pixels. Let me just make this a bit easier for you to see. Okay, so font size 20 pixels. Text align, this time we're going to be a little bit different. And we're going to make that left. Then we want to go with font weight. And we're going to make that bold. So we're bolding that. Let's quickly see what we've done. Okay, so we've aligned it left, so it's moved here. And we've made it even bolder. Or did we? Quickly show you what I normally do when I'm coding. Is I comment things out and check. So in this case that made no difference, so let's get rid of it. So we don't need to bold it because it's automatically bolded for us. Okay, the next thing on our list is going to be adding some padding. So let's go padding on the top, and that is going to be 40 pixels. Then we can go and choose our background color. This is when I'm going to show you that neat trick I've been telling you about. So we're going to go background color. You can just double click there. And now we are going to go and pick a color. So we can double click pick a color. And then we've got all these options here. But I'm quite a perfectionist, so I'm going to go and choose this little eyedropper. Select. And I'm going to choose this green. Or this one. No, this one. And we can choose OK. And then we see here that that has auto-generated our color code for us. So, and then we can do that. And let's just have a look. Okay. So that looks quite messy. But we're going to fix it. So we've now got padding at the top over here, which is our 40px. And then we can go ahead and add some standard padding around our text. So that padding is going to be how much? Padding is going to be 8 pixels. There we go. So that looks a lot better. So we've got text align left, and we see here that that has worked quite nicely. The next thing we want to do is put in some padding. So if we just go padding and set that to 8 pixels. And the next thing we can do is then add in a background color. So if we just go down on this list and we double click here, it'll auto generate the rest of that line for us. And then we can go ahead and double click on pick color. And normally you can just go and select a color from here. But I'm a perfectionist, so I'm going to go to this little eyedropper, which is select. I'm going to select here, and I want this particular green. So I'm just going to take this, there we go, that's the green I want, and click, and it auto generates that color code for me. Isn't that awesome? And then we can go and see what this looks like. Okay, that's looking pretty good to me. So we now have our background color and we have formatted our text. I think that is enough formatting for text heading. So we can go ahead and move on to the next item, which is going to be all of this. And what does that fall under? Which tag will we be using for this? For anyone who typed in TD or table data, well done, you were correct. So within table data, we are going to do font size, and that's going to be 15 pixels. Then we're going to go ahead and text align, so text align, and that is going to be left. And we can add some padding, and we can also make that 8 pixels. So how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to use quite a cool class, and that is tr in nth and child, and in this case we want it to be the odds. Okay, so what this does is it picks the odd and even lines and allows us to then edit them. So we can change everything that's an odd number to green and everything that's an even number to purple if we wanted to. But in this case, we want to make the odd, so 1, 2, 3, we want the odd numbers to be green. So we're going to go odd, and we're going to go background, color, and we can go ahead and actually just copy this. There we go. Let's see if that worked. There we go. So then we're going to do the same thing, but this time we're going to go table row. There we go. Child. And that's going to be even. Okay, and then this time our background color we're going to get from the clouds. So out of thin air. Select, and we can choose that color. Let's go OK. There we go. So our table is now formatted, and then if you don't like that color, we can always go and pick a new one. So we can just edit that out, pick color, select this again, and we can go for slightly darker blue if we want to. Let's see what that looks like. There we go. So we'll leave that for now. The next thing we're wanting to edit is going to be our contact us details. Now, what have we put the contact us details in? We've put them in a container. So in order to reference this, we are going to have to say dot container. The dot meaning that we are calling a class we've created. So dot container, and for this we're just going to go text align center, and we're going to just put some padding on the top, and that's going to be 40 pixels. Et voila! So that is nicely in the center now. And last but not least, we need to fix this whole copyright footer sitting randomly in the middle of nowhere. So we're going to go and have a look, and we see that the footer is also in a div class. So we're going to come here and put a dot footer, and within here we're going to say the position is fixed, meaning that no matter how much you scroll, it will always be at the bottom. Then we've got left, we're going to set that to 0. Bottom, we're also going to set to 0. Let me just make a bit more room so we can see what I'm doing. We obviously want the width to be set at 100% so that it covers the whole section. And now we want a background color. Okay, so which color should we choose? I think we should go with that same green. So we can just go up there and let's have a look. Wow. This is still in the wrong place. What do you guys think we need to do in order to fix that? We need to change the color to white. And we need to change the text alignment to the center. Let's check. There we go. So I'm quite happy with that. And then the next time we look at the site will be in the next lesson. Okay, so coming up in the next lesson, let's have a look at your sneak peek into lesson 3. In lesson 3, I'm going to teach you how to add additional pages to the gaming den and incorporate more advanced features such as navigation bars, creating multiple web pages, background images continued, formatting tables continued. So for these two, I'm just going to show you a whole bunch of more advanced techniques that you can use. So please don't miss out. In summary, I've just created these little skeletons for you. So here's the skeleton version of the link between HTML CSS and CSS. Then this is how we created our footer. And this is the basic format for your tables. So I've just broken that down very simply, and I would suggest going and playing with these at home and seeing the different combinations you can come up with. Now don't think I'm going to let you get away that easily. We've still got our lesson challenge. So post on any of our social media platforms a screenshot of your customized site from today's lesson. So go and add images. You can make it about yourself or your business, and then you can just get a screenshot of that and post it on our social media. And I've gone ahead and included our Facebook link here as well. Congratulations on completing lesson 2. I hope you all had a great time and have learned something new. Please feel free to send us any feedback and suggestions you may have, and you can do that by emailing us at support@shawacademy.com. A big well done on completing the lesson. Remember, every lesson you attend brings you closer to achieving your goals. Just don't drop out, and remember, we can achieve this. Again, thank you all for attending. You've now completed lesson 2, and I can't wait to show you what I've got in store for lesson 3. Thanks everyone, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.